It's the college football preview show with the Rollup Network. I'm Silk, and I'm kicking it with two wide receivers, two legendary wide receivers, Kenny Shaw, Amon Richards. What up, fellas? Week 2. What it do?
Good. Go nose, baby.
Go Canes, man. We like to get this dub, man.
I definitely got no anxiety for me this week, bro. It's cupcake week, baby. I think it's cupcake week.
Hey,
Listen,
you gotta cancel the show, maybe today.
If I lose to McNeese State,
gotta roll it up, literally.
I rolled up and I podcast through 2 4-8 seasons, fellas. So I'm a veteran at this bad season thing. I can't tackle nobody. All I can do is the content. So I just keep everything in perspective. If I could tackle people, then shit gonna go a little different. But all I could do is chill, man. But it's week 2, man. Big game. We got 2 cupcakes, I think, Kenny. But big game for the Miami Hurricanes this week. You guys got Texas A&M. Before we get our guest on, we got a little bit of talk before we get my guy Jay Arnold for Texas A&M, former defensive lineman, current podcaster. We're gonna bring him on to kick it a little bit. But how you feeling? You got your orange hoodie on? What up with it?
I'm feeling like money. I'm excited. You know why? Just watching last year, and I know it's a different season, different team, but we should have won that game last year. We made a lot of mistakes, so I'm really just I'm turned up, to say the least.
Turned up. That's how you feeling?
Ooh.
Because when the clock is 0-0-0, I know what it's gonna read.
Kenny, you played with Kenny Shaw. I mean, what I'm talking about. Kenny, you played with Jimbo Fisher. What are you expecting out of this game? Like, what's in Jimbo's mindset? I know you've been texting him too. You said you shared some information with us. So how you feeling for Jimbo right now?
Hey, Jimbo on their top. No offense, AR. Jimbo don't lose to Miami. I think his record probably 9-0 versus boys. So
something crazy.
Block field goal.
So I'm just going with an old coach, But hey, like he said, AR, if you win this game, we got some shit to talk to Silk.
Yeah, I need A&M to pull this off. I need both of y'all boys with big wins. It was a great game I'm not gonna say great game. It was a good game last year, more of a defensive battle. You said Jimbo don't lose to Miami. Last time Jimbo lost to Miami was a Malik Rozier, right? Rozier.
That was was it Willie Taggart? Was coach, I think.
That was Willie? I thought Malik got him one time.
I don't know. I mean, I was on the team, but I wasn't paying attention with the coach.
Oh, okay.
It might have been. It was James Blackman was the quarterback coach. So I don't know if that. Yeah, Blackman.
Yeah, most likely it was Willie Taggart then.
Yeah.
Because Jimbo only had James for that 1 year, and then he bounced after that.
Oh, then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jimbo, because I know he 5-0 at Florida State.
Yeah.
Then 1-0 at Miami. I mean, against Miami and Texas A&M. So,
he good in Florida, man. He ran down on UF as well, like a year or two ago, man. He's pretty good in the state of Florida. He handled business when he come here.
Shout out Dalvin Cook, man. That's the reason y'all boys kept doing it. The man got magic. I don't know what it is, but
I ain't played with Dalvin, and I'm 4-0.
That man was a nightmare, bro. Every year, well, I was there for one, but watching it on TV, he come through every time in the clutch, every time.
Everybody that's here kicking it with us, make sure y'all hit that like button, pound that like button, comment, subscribe, share our tweets on Twitter. Let everybody know we kicking Big 3 Talk on the Roll Up on YouTube. One time for our sponsor and our powered, guy that got us in our corner, Alan Horne. Be sure to visit AlanHorneInsurance.com. Give him a call at 706-692-2888. If you're in the states of Florida, Georgia, Tennessee, or Alabama. He's a State Farm provider, a former Gator pitcher, and also a former Yankee. He's a Big 3 guy to the core. Make sure you guys hit him up. You need home insurance, life insurance, auto insurance, or even financial services. Alan got you. I want to talk a little bit before we get our first guest on, a little bit of the top 25. Coaches poll came in. They got Florida State at what, 4 or 5 right now?
4.
Yeah, 5. Coaches poll have Florida State at 5. The top 5 reads off Georgia, Michigan, Alabama, Ohio State, Florida State. They have USC at 6, Penn State at 7, Washington at 8, Tennessee at 9, who we play next week, and then Texas at 10. That rounds off your top 10 right there. Any complaints? You like where y'all at, Kenny?
Shit, how we play, I think we should have jumped top 3.
Top 3, how you feeling?
I mean, we beat a top 5 team by 21. What you?
They say LSU fluke. Fluke.
I don't know. Hey, I don't think anybody in the state of Florida beat them except us.
Okay, here's your top. If you're looking on the screen here,
Yeah,
that's pretty much your top
agree.
25.
I agree with it. Pretty solid.
Not mad at it. Colorado coming in at 25 threw me off a little bit. They beat Tennessee and then jump right into the top 25. I'm not a big fan of preseason rankings already, right? I think like rankings should probably roll out around like week 3 or 4, in my opinion. But we don't know how good of a team TCU is after their exits last year in a playoff appearance. We just don't know how good they are. But Colorado beat those guys in a barn burner, and then they jump into the top 25. How you guys feel about Prime showing in their ranking?
So, personally, I mean, the ranking is a little early, but I'm not mad at it. Coach Prime had them boys ready. You know, they came out, they competed. You know, there's plenty of times in the game where I thought they were going to roll over, you know, but they kept punching back. TCU would answer, they would answer right back. You know, converting on what
Not
fourth
smooth
down,
transition.
fourth and short, you know, for a touchdown. Plays like that is what changed the game. Um, they executed. End of the day, TCU didn't. To your point, we don't know how good of a team TCU is. So, you know, throughout the season, we're going to shake out and really see where Colorado stands. But it wouldn't surprise me if they continue on their trajectory, winning games. So,
I ain't gonna lie to you. I had Prime and them boys coming out getting smoked. I think the spread was 21. I was concerned about him taking over that and flipping that roster like that. So I'm gonna be real. My take the whole offseason was Prime was gonna struggle year 1, and then we'll see how he reboot in year 2. Coming out the way they look smooth. His son looked smooth, passed for over 500 yards. I thought he was impressive. Travis Hunter, and I think both of them are legit from game 1. We still got a lot more to play. Film is going to get out there on those guys because there was no film. But game 1, 500 and some passing yards. Travis Hunter was locked down, electric on both sides of the ball. I was impressed game 1. Can't lie.
Yeah. I don't think I was more so impressed. Like I don't think Prime a type of coach that would go in and not throw all his bullets out. So
Right.
I am, like AR said, I'm surprised that they, kept the stamina and kept they just toughness up the whole game. You know what I mean? That's not easy jumping into a environment like that. Top 25 team on your first go around. So I think all the playmakers showed up when they needed to, and shoot, I'm just like a fan like everybody else. I want to see them keep it going.
yeah. Yeah, it takes a
Shock,
dog to keep fighting back. And, a game like
shock the
that,
world.
keep answering. You really got to be a dog. And like Coach Prime said, they got a team full of dogs, and it showed, throughout the game, man. Right when I'm like, all right, the kid fumbled right before half, and I'm like, there it is right there. That's the play where TCU going to score and be able to, go into halftime with a lead. But nope, they came right down, got a field goal before half, came out, touchdown, and just kept their foot on their neck. So I respect it. That's good looking forward. Knowing your team, you have dogs in your team because this is not going to be the only close game they be in all season. So, that's something to look forward to. And Coach Prime, he knew it before us, obviously. What he has on the roster. So
Man, he woke up that morning and tweeted win. He was super confident going in. I was like, man, they was in his. You go read those mentions. They was tearing him up on Twitter like, you about to get smoked, Prime. And Prime did what he had to do, bro. Super impressed from the play calling. I think the offense was fluid. Shedeur is definitely better than I thought. I didn't think he was a Power 5 guy. I just got to keep it all the way being. He's definitely better than what I thought. But overall, impressed. We'll see how it goes from week to week. We're going to go ahead and get it right cracking into the Big 3 talk, man. Make sure y'all pound that like button, comment, share. If you have questions, shoot us questions. Keep commenting. It don't cost nothing to show love, so make sure you hit that like button. But we about to kick it with former defensive lineman, current podcaster, Jay Arnold, who's with, he does some stuff with Texas A&M. So we're gonna break down this Miami game and see what he talking about in Jimbo land. Jay, what it do, my dude? How you doing?
How's it going, fellas? Appreciate you guys having me on.
Oh man, it's all love, man. We appreciate you coming
Jay.
and hanging out with us, man.
Right on. Should be a good one this weekend. Can't wait to see how it shakes out.
How real quick before my man Amon jump into the trenches here. What kind of team, like Jimbo was on the hot seat last year? Like things was the locker room was upside down. It was a lot of things in the flux when he brings in Petrino. What's the overall feel of this A&M team this year?
Yeah, I mean, when you brought in Petrino, I think a lot of questions were out there about how the dynamic was going to work. Because I mean, it's two guys who've been head coaches. There's going to be some egos in the room, but I mean, if you spend any time around college coaches, basically everybody has a little bit of ego. You have to compete at this level. No, it's once Petrino kind of came in and said that he was going to be calling plays, I think the feeling around the squad was a little bit better. As far as, it may not necessarily have been Jimbo's play calling, but I think it felt a little bit stale offensively. And obviously with that announcement, a lot of the guys were excited for an opportunity to just kind of embrace Bobby Petrino's offensive philosophy. It's that FTS, feed the studs, which I think a lot of fans were excited to hear about as well.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm excited to surprisingly see what you guys come out, offense and do with us. Honestly, last year, it was a pretty even game a little bit. I think we had advantage, in the time of possession, 34 to 25 minutes. Total yards was, we had 392 to you guys is 264. So I do think this time around, that it's going to be a lot more points, a lot more deep shots. So I'm excited to see what we both can do. I do think ultimately it's going to come down to us controlling the game and running the ball effectively and capitalizing in the red zone, because I do think that's what hurt us last year. Getting to the red zone, 4 times, coming out with 9 points, all field goals, in a block field goal. I mean, you're not going to win any games, especially against an SEC team kicking field goals. It'll never happen.
Yeah. Nah, and I mean, you talked about it. Like, I think this is going to be a much more high-scoring game because I think both offenses look better. Miami, I was super impressed with the running backs when I was watching film. I mean, Parrish and Fletcher and Allen, those guys are all really good backs. And A&M struggled with the rushing defense last year. So, obviously there's a lot of a lot of talent in the trenches there on the defensive line. And they're trying to live up to, the hype there. But I think that's going to be the battle to watch, right, is the Miami offensive line and that rushing attack against the Texas A&M defensive line.
Yeah, and that's a big thing, is that I'm confident. I think we're going to pull away and get the win, but I'm also a little nervous that Texas A&M defensive line, I just feel like at any point can really just wreak havoc on any team, and I really don't want it to be us next week where they have a coming out party. And,
That's how it be, bro.
exactly. I don't want that to happen, so that's the only thing I'm biting my tongue on a little bit. But everything else, I think we match up pretty evenly, across the board.
Yeah, and like week 2 of the season, right? So it's really hard to still kind of know what these teams are going to be.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody has overreactions in week 1, right? Like everybody on the fan boards wherever is predicting new favorites, people win the Heisman, whatever after week 1. So it's maybe some overreaction on our part, maybe some overreaction on anybody's part about how good the offense is going to be. But right, it's like week 1, we don't know. But man, like looking at Miami's weapons too on the offense, that first touchdown that Kobe Young had against
Miami, Ohio.
JV,
Miami,
JV.
it's the Confusion Bowl, man. It's throwing me off. But no, I mean, like the way he kind of took off 2 out of. Oh, I think I lost
There
internet
you go.
there.
Yeah,
Technical difficulties.
yeah, I was about to say, I ain't.
All right. But yeah, I was just talking about how with the offensive and like the receivers that both teams have, I think a lot of it matches up. Like it's a fun matchup on paper. I think this could go any number of ways. Like there's a lot of ways for either team to win this game. And with A&M and Connor Wegman at quarterback, I mean, Wegman's still pretty young, right? Like
Mhm.
just a true sophomore. So we'll see if he's able to kind of keep up the progress from the New Mexico game.
Yeah, and that was my question to you. What do you think about Wingman and just his development, through the off season and coming to this year, and then really playing in like his, this year, this first like big game, big time matchup on the road.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a big test for sure. Obviously, the quarterback situation. I mean, three different guys ended up starting for A&M last year, and Wegman was the guy that closed the season out. Uh, he had some struggles there, but one of the most impressive things for me, like a true freshman, not turning the ball over. He wasn't throwing any interceptions, and obviously, I mean, it gets to a point where if you have zero interceptions, maybe you're not taking enough risks. So, in a weird way, I kind of want to see him take more risks against Miami. I think
Right.
that's kind of the next stage in his development.
Hey Jay, as a Jimbo guy, I know he got the quarterback and the offense ready. Are they over or under 20 points?
I think this is going to be a high scoring game, man. Like we were talking about, I think it's over 20.
Yeah, I think.
No, I was talking to him earlier, and I don't have no hatred towards Miami, but I did tell him, I said, hey, run this X, Y, and Z versus these boys, and you should get some touchdowns.
Yeah.
And he laughed and said it is already in the playbook. So, how confident are these guys going into Miami?
I mean, look, Evan Stewart and Noah Thomas are two of the best receivers in the country, in my opinion. And it's a good compliment, right? Like Evan's more of a super athletic guy that jumps to go get, like has the range to jump to go get balls, whereas Noah Thomas is a big 6'6" receiver. And they kind of feed off of each other. And then you got a veteran in the room and Anaya Smith too. Just talking about the receiver room. I mean, I'm pretty impressed with the talent, and I think that helps with a young quarterback in Wegman's development too, right?
Yeah.
When you have those kind of weapons to go to.
So I was gonna piggyback off that. I have in my notes here, and I hope our defensive coordinator has it as well. It says contain N.A. Smith. I'm sorry if I slaughtered his name. Evan Stewart, and Noah Thomas. Keys to victory.
Yeah.
Contain them, limit the explosive plays and the yards at the catch, and I think I'll be able to enjoy the game. But if them boys catch the ball open space, they're running free, it's gonna be a long day for us. We're gonna struggle. So
Yeah, I mean, I kind of see the same thing. Where I think Miami's going to try to pressure, bring some of the exotic blitz packages that just to kind of get after the A&M offensive line, because I do think that there's some questions there as well that weren't completely answered by New Mexico. But yeah, I mean, it's if Wegman's able to hit those deep shots like he did against New Mexico, against Miami, then that could get pretty interesting as far as Miami's ability to cover it. I will say though that Cam Kitchens in the secondary is another dude that can make for a good matchup against those receivers as far as coverage, and he's also pretty effective in the run game. So it's battles all over the field.
yeah, no, we got Devontae Brown, Daryl Porter, Cam Kitchens, James Williams back there. So it's gonna be a good matchup. Like I said, it's gonna come down to to me the receiving core on both sides, and can they make those big plays on the third downs and those key moments in the game to keep drives alive, and get points and put up touchdowns. Field goals is not going to win this game.
No, I think it's going to need quite a few touchdowns to win this. And I mean, then looking on the Miami for y'all's offense, I mean, did you see it kind of really depending all on the run there as far as establishing everything?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. yeah, we established a run early on. I think establishing a run builds confidence throughout the entire team. You're getting those, short yardage, first downs, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, converting those. It opens up, the play action game and taking deep shots later in the game. So establishing that is going to be big, But if we're forced to just throw the ball every play because we can't run, we're going to be in trouble, And I think it's vice versa. If we do the same thing, stop the run and force the quarterback to make throws, I kind of like us. You guys got some stars out there on the, a receiver, but it's how many times they're going to come down and make those plays, consistently.
Yeah, yeah, man. It's, I mean, the way like you talked about, kind of setting everything up with the run, as far as if Miami does get behind the sticks. I do feel like, especially starting a true freshman at right tackle, no offense, he's incredibly talented, Managoa,
Yeah.
but there's just a level of adjustment to the game when you're a true freshman
That's what I said
playing
last week.
against guys. Like it's just
Barbecue chicken.
it's tough. And like I'd say my first like game experience in the SEC and going out there and being a true freshman on the defensive line, anywhere in the trenches, like I think that battle is almost just harder. So, if A&M gets Miami behind the sticks because Miami can't establish the run and then are able to get after Tyler Van Dyke, I think that could be problematic for the Hurricanes as well.
Okay.
I think it turns into like it could turn into, because Tyler Van Dyke likes to sling it around. Jimbo is going and Petrino going to do what they do. Guidry like to play his corners in a lot of one-on-one, so it's going to be interesting to see how Miami secondary can hold up versus that pass attack for A&M. I got that being the key to the game, in my opinion. Miami being able to play one-on-one and actually get to the get home to the quarterback, and I like their front four. Just to be honest with you. I think they're talented in that front four, probably one of their stronger units, but I think it comes down to that secondary. I think the front four are going to do their thing, but can they make the plays on that back end and hold water? You know what I'm saying? That whole game is going to be tough.
Yeah, and it's a different kind of approach than A&M had last year. There's definitely a lot more deep shots mixed in, so that it's gonna test that secondary. But I mean, like you said, it's the four up front for Miami. I think they're going to be able to get pressure on Wegman, and we saw New Mexico get pressure last week. Obviously, they blitz almost 80% of their defensive play calls, so that's kind of a little bit of a different thing to deal with. But Miami's going to be able to bring pressure without sending as many blitzers or stunts. So it'll be interesting to see how they test Wegman and really put him under pressure.
What you got? How your man did Jimbo about to approach this, Kenny? What you thinking, bro?
I told him he's coming in aggressive. I know his hatred towards Miami, and I don't think it left anywhere going to College Station. So I like for him to come in aggressive. He's always going to have the offense ready. Like you say, it's going to come down to defense on both sides because both teams got elite playmakers. So ultimately, that's what it comes down to, is who can stop who, and can those skilled players change the game around. So,
How big of a go ahead, Kenny? I didn't mean to cut you off.
So AR as a receiver, if you can't beat 1-on-1, you ain't gonna win no games.
None at all. So especially in this league, SEC, they built off running man, and your players. Are you better than me? That's just what it come down to. Just old fashioned football.
Can't blame the coaches. Can't blame none of that. Yeah, it's just
island. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
How big of a game is this for both sides? Like, what does this mean for Jimbo? I know he was on a hot seat last year. A lot of things going on. They gave him a big ass check to come out there at College Station. So how big of a game is this for Jimbo?
Yeah, this is massive. I think this kind of sets the tone for the whole season. For A&M, I think the over/under is set at 8 on win total for the season. If you get the win here, like I think that sets up to be a pretty good year. But if you lose this game against Miami, I mean, with the way the SEC schedule is, it's going to be tough to get to that win total. And 8-9 wins is a reasonable expectation coming off of a 5-7 year, but I think you have to beat Miami to get there.
Yeah, and I was going to say for us, I mean, a win like this, it's so funny how like expectations can just rise or lower based off a game like this. We win this game, the mentality of teams that, like, oh wow, we really can win. We can win these big games. We've done it, and now it's like a confidence going forward. We lose a game, then it becomes like questions like, okay, like, are we really that good? Next thing you know, like, we'll accept being, winning 7 games or 6 games, right? But we win this game, we're 2-0. Now you're feeling yourself a little bit more. You're confident going into next week. Now you're like, I think we can go win 9, 10 games this year, so this is like a turning point in the season. I know it's early, but we win this game. I do think you're going to see like a different energy with the team, momentum wise.
Yeah, what you expecting stadium wise? I know y'all had the BOGO tickets online, and y'all was doing the buy one get one. Were you expecting a sold out show?
Man, listen, I'm gonna tell you. Listen, Miami is a different place. There's so much to do, right? I mean, so you went to the game, right? It can get
Bro,
rowdy.
here's okay. So I'm at the game. Here's before you say that, I didn't mean to cut you off, but bro, it took me for a little minute to get in the game. AR know I had some ticket app shenanigans, so it took me a while to get in the game. So as I'm out there in the second quarter, I see people leaving in droves. I'm like, are they losing? I had to go online to see if they was losing or something, and nah, they were winning, but so many people were leaving like before even halftime.
Yeah.
And like Miami's a busy, fun city, so I get the issues that they have with attendance. But go ahead, bro. That was
Yeah,
just
no, I
my
was gonna
story
say,
and
like,
experience from last week.
I was gonna say, even when we're undefeated, I remember 2017, like, you look in the stands, there's still some open seats. We're undefeated, ranked 2 in the nation, right? Everyone should, but it's just end of the day, we kind of accept it. At least when you're on the team, you already know, like, majority of people, like our student body, they're probably partying on boats and whatever the case may be. And local fans, right? It's Saturday, they're probably home watching the game, or they're on a yacht somewhere, or at brunch with their
Bro,
wives. And so it's a lot
that
of stuff
traffic more
going
than
on.
anything. Nobody want to get in that traffic, bro.
That's another thing. If it rains, no one's showing up as well. If it forecasts rain, people aren't really, it's not going to be sold out. But, for us, I think we're going to see, a pretty packed stadium. It's a huge game. It's, a lot of anticipation going on, my bad. So it's one of those events, right? And I'm calling it an event, for this game, right? It's an event. So it's going to, a lot of celebs and people are going to pop out to this game, 3:30, so not really a lot going on at 3:30. So we should see a pretty packed crowd. It's going to be loud. It's going to be rowdy. So I'm curious to see what the quarterback, for A&M can do in this type of environment, not a home field with 100,000 plus cheering for you.
Right.
You won't have about, 60, 70,000 going against you, and it gets rowdy.
Yeah.
60, 70.
60 Saturday. Watch what they're gonna show the
That's how
attendance.
much we had at the Camping World Stadium.
Oh my god! But
I will say I do think A&M fans are going to travel pretty good too, though.
They might pack it
We
out then.
usually do. It's I'm not going to like sit here and say that A&M is going to be filling up the stadium, but I think we'll have probably a good contingent out there at least. Tickets even with the buy one it's a little expensive down there in Miami. I think everything is, huh?
Yeah,
everything.
man.
Hey Jay, what's that little stuff y'all fans be doing? That little yodeling shit and all that.
the
You telling me
yells.
they gonna come to Coral Gables?
Man, they'll be there. It won't be like that, but they'll probably have some kind of midnight yell going too to practice the night before the game. I guess tonight or tomorrow night. So
You ain't never seen that stuff, huh?
No, we play
uh,
Texas A&M, man. So yeah, unfortunately, I had to see it. First time I saw it when we saw Johnny Manziel with Muschamp.
Whoa.
Mm-mm.
man, it's wild, but it's nice to I guess have the dedication for it though. Like they do show up. I mean, win, lose, draw, like whatever. They're always going to be packing up Kyle Field. For the big games. So
I do
Hey,
think.
no
I do
more
think.
not go ahead, AR.
No, I'm gonna say I think A&M got one of the best interests in college football. I ain't gonna lie to you.
The entrance? I haven't paid attention to the entrance. It's
No,
fire.
yeah, it's fire, bro. They come out
What
with
is it?
the whole stadium going crazy before they come out. Like,
I gotta see this now.
yeah, I think
Jay,
they changed it. So it used to be power,
yeah,
but
it's a new
they
song
changed
now.
it.
Yeah.
Jay, no more nice guy. What you got to predict it score to be? Y'all been buddy
All right,
and shit. And I ain't heard no.
It's bait. I'm baiting him.
yeah. I got you. All right. So I think it's going to be a high scoring game. The Vegas has the over under at 51, which I think is great. I think this is going to be like a 65-point game. I think it's going to be wild. So I'm going to go with a shootout, but 45-38, Texas A&M.
45 what? What's up?
38.
38.
45-38. That's a lot of points for Miami, man. Did they hit
telling
30
you, though.
last year? I don't know.
It was a low scoring game last year, but I think these two offenses have changed quite a bit. And I think it's going to kind of turn into a firefight.
Yeah, we left like 24 points on the board last year. So I was going us 38-31 Canes with the win.
That boy's got a lot of points.
Yeah, it's gonna be high scoring, bro. Like the Texas A&M, they throw it around a lot. Like they're throwing it around.
We're gonna look bad if we're wrong, but I think it's gonna be a high scoring game.
What you got, Kenny?
I got 41-24. A&M.
Oh my God.
41-24.
41 sound crazy. 41.
So I kept it a little bit closer, but
This man, you think you're gonna get
You know, I'm just going off the end. He say people be leaving the stadium. Them boys ain't gonna have nothing to look forward to. No fans hyping them up.
You know what?
man, you know that the crowd can play a factor late in the game. So if they leave early,
Hey.
Nah, they ain't gonna be able to leave early for this one. They gotta sit tight. It's gonna be a barn burner.
No, I'm gonna tell you how to look.
Go ahead. What
They
you got?
paid about $400 for them tickets. They ain't going nowhere. Trust me. They're not leaving until the game is 0-0-0. Trust.
Might got a $5,000 table at Live though.
Hey, and they gonna take that one.
Yeah, you gotta go, man. You gotta get up out of there. Give me 27-31 Jimbo. I got Jimbo. I need Jimbo to do this. I don't need Miami and Florida State to both have big wins that start off the year, and I just got McNeese State. So I gotta get into my bag of hating, and I got them boys losing at home. And I can get a couple little trolls off, get some get back from last week. We'll see.
We're motivated, man.
I like to hear that though. I think y'all may have more confidence in A&M than I do, but that's probably just from having bad luck in sports for so long.
I got bad luck in sports too, Jay. I just lie real good. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, tell the people where they can find you at, Jay. I appreciate you for hanging out with us, my dude.
Yeah, man. Appreciate y'all having me on. You can find me on Twitter at Coach J Arnold. I guess it's X now, but I always forget that. And then on Instagram at Coach J L Arnold. I got a lot going on. You can listen to me talk A&M football on the Aggie War Pod, part of the Dave Campbell's Republic of Football Network. And then I also have a podcast that looks at the entirety of college football, and that's the Get Back Coach, my buddy Jake. But yeah, I got a lot of stuff going on, so staying busy. I guess that's better than the alternative.
Yeah, man. We appreciate you for hanging out with us. We'll tune in with you whenever we have another A&M matchup. We definitely hit you up, my guy.
Bet. Appreciate it, fellas.
All right, good luck. Gotta give my guy a good luck. I need him to pull this win out.
I didn't like that good luck, huh?
Hey, man, y'all smash that like button, comment. We appreciate everybody. All the regulars is hanging out. My guy S. Dot is back. Spencer Jerky in the building. Shout out to Big Bro. He hanging out on the Coach Uncut podcast page. Fragrance Journey. Everybody in the comments, we appreciate y'all for hanging out with us. We're gonna do some Gator talk next since I got my guy David Haas in the chamber. We'll bring him on. Then we'll talk a little Gator football. But I do want to discuss the Gervon Dexter contract situation, NIL, and just NIL in the totality, where we at with it. So we're going to bring my man David on, kick it a little bit, and we'll see where we at with it. Hold on 1 second. Technology's beating my ass today. My power went out. That's why I disappeared for a little minute, guys. I had a flicker. I had to go check and make sure I paid the bill. Like, hold on.
Check that.
That would have been crazy if I couldn't come back to the show.
We would have held it down. I would have loosened that conversation up. They were going being too nice to each other.
Yeah, neither one of them confident. They just want to get out of there.
A&M not really a rival. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's kind of like they're just a team, you know.
Yeah,
Just a team.
And they ain't win nothing, so
it's a rivalry to Jimbo. It
You know
should be
what
a
I'm saying?
rivalry for y'all, just for Jimbo. Like Jimbo be running down on y'all, bro.
I respect Jimbo. I can't say nothing bad about Jimbo. Except he ain't
See what I'm
recruiting
saying?
Glock.
Jimbo got them boys shook. They tucking their chain in every time Jimbo come around the corner, Kenny.
Mm-hmm.
He said they both scared.
David Haas.
What's up,
my guy?
fellas? How
Been
you doing,
hanging out a
Sil?
little bit, man.
Hey,
I'm great.
man,
How
there's
about
nothing wrong
yourself?
with that. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. It's nice to see the new faces on here. I know Kenny, Amon. Nice to meet you, bud.
Nice to meet
And
you.
it's a good show as always. So
I appreciate it, man. I hit you up. I wanted the Gervon Dexter news was insane. He's suing right now the guys that gave him a terrible NIL deal where they fronted him almost $500,000, but it was for 15% of his NFL income for I think what 20 years or something. Am I mistaken?
25.
25 years. What is you're an attorney, so give me the overhead view of this whole thing. What's his chances in court? You know, was this a legit deal? Are we gonna see more of these type of deals? Like, what's the landscape of NIL right now?
So yeah. I mean, I'll start off with sort of this, which is, people can enter into bad contracts, right? The question in for Javon is going to be whether or not this contract violates state law. And so the complaint that was filed by him and his lawyers basically alleges that Big League Advance, which looked like they mostly did some baseball work, violated by not having a licensed athlete agent, which I am as well in Florida, and basically linked payments to after his collegiate career to performance. So, for example, in NIL, you can't give somebody $1,000 for a post if they get an interception. You can't link it to performance. It's based on name, image, likeness. It's not pay for play, even though it's a crazy world right now.
A little bit.
So by linking it to his performance, by being able to get drafted, the plaintiffs or Javon's lawyers are saying that's linked to performance. He became professional and he can't do that. He wasn't, none of the people involved with BLA, Big League Advance, were licensed athlete agents in Florida. So that violated state law. And they cite, another provisions without trying to get too lawyerly on here as to why the deal should be voided. I looked at it. I mean, look, here's what I would say is this contract is 35, 34 pages long. I've been a lawyer for 21 years. It's complicated to me to read, but it's got an initial term for when he's in college and then an extended term for after he's, declares. That in and of itself is confusing. So really what Gervon needed was a lawyer, somebody that could just represent his interest in looking at this, explaining it to him so that he would understand if he wanted to sign it, right? I mean, that's the big deal is who is really in his back corner trying to protect him, or was it just, hey, look, there's $500,000 and, for 25 years, I'll take it. It's tough to say what position he was in. But there are a number of provisions that violate the athlete agent laws of Florida that I saw in the contract. I think he's got a very good chance of avoiding it. But that being said, he's still going to go through the pains and tribulations of litigating this and airing sort of any of the laundry that comes with it.
Right. Is University of Florida, do they have any compliance or like how does this work? So he gets the deal. I kind of know, but I got to dumb it down for the audience. Yeah. So he gets approached with a deal, and before he signs, like what's the protocol? What's the process? How much is Florida involved in that process?
Really, they're on the afterthought of it. I'm sure that with what NIL was, and if we go back to 2021, 2022, when this was in place, Florida's NIL laws have changed even since then, but really just required disclosure of the contract after it had been signed to the University of Florida and to the athletic director. There's one of the breach allegations here is they're saying the contract was actually never turned over to the University of Florida, which means University of Florida may not have ever known that this type of contract was entered into. And then there's some language that needs to be in it, at least back then, that said you need to void it within 14 days. And so that would give the opportunity at the University of Florida to take a look at it, maybe explain it then. But if it was never turned over to the UF, to UF or to compliance, that part doesn't happen. And so that's one of the reasons that, Gervon basically says the contract should be voided. So the university doesn't really play a part on the front end of those contract discussions, which is tough. It's really terrible. It puts the university in an awkward position too, because I'm sure they don't want to accept the liability of saying, sign this, don't sign this, and then you open yourself up. So that's why you really need somebody to do it. And it's not a sales pitch, but I do this for guys in college for nothing, because I don't want to see guys get hurt. So, players, they have contracts, they send them to me, I look at it, I at least just explain it to them so that you know what you're in for. Because it's complicated stuff, even for lawyers that have been doing this a while.
I knew I liked you for a reason, Dave, man. That's cool, Because that was my next question. That was my next question is, how can you tell these kids on the platform right now how to even avoid this? Like, I know I can tell them from the athlete perspective, like, hey, you earn it, just keep going. But what can you tell them from the attorney side?
Well, I mean, look, call me, and that's not a sales pitch because, but you need to get somebody that really represents your interest. And that's, if you look at this deal from 1,000 feet up, Gervon, at least as far as we know, even though the contract itself says, hey, you can have a lawyer look at this. I don't know that he did. I don't know that he didn't. So I don't want to speak to that. There's nothing mentioned that he did. And again, it could be that he just agreed to a bad contract. That happens. But here you've got provisions of the Florida Athlete Agent Law that are pretty clearly violated. And whether it's enough to sever out, because there's this early term when he's in college, there's an after, an extended term. But yeah, I mean, seek advice, ask questions, reach out. Everybody here has a number for somebody that they trust. And, if somebody's usually charging you on the back end, they're more interested in what you're going to get later on. Right. And again, he was going to get a sizable amount of money. So, I mean, it's not like he got nothing, but with Florida, the usury laws and what the criminal rate of return is on an investment, which is sort of how this BLA was set up, it doesn't look good for BLA. And I actually went back today as I was prepping for this, and I found a CBS article when BLA was sort of first starting about this. And this is sort of the same deal they've run through their other athletes. So, I mean, it's probably fairly consistent, with, it was the same $5,000 charitable donation, and they, disclosed 15% basically, and they own the agent, or I'm sorry, the athlete's, name, image, likeness, basically in perpetuity forever. So, I mean, it seems like this predatory type of contract is used by them. And it sort of puts the athlete in the really with the back against the wall, like, hey, there's a lot of money here. And that's all maybe the player sees. And I don't want to say, speak for Gervon on that, but there's 10 times more of what he was giving up. He was projected as a day 2 pick, that could sneak in around 1. So, I mean, he was going to get a big NFL contract, and to give 15% of that up, is tough.
Ain't no way. Shout out to Florida. I'm not I hate politics, man. But shout out to Florida for setting up some type of legalities to protect these kids, man. Well, grown men. They're not kids, but protect these young men in this situation, because I don't think Gervon's the only one. Like, is this the tip of the iceberg, or how many more of these NIL contracts do you think we see like this?
It's tough to say. I mean, you see players entering into these deals, and you hope that they're good. You hope that they're getting good sort of sound advice from somebody that, knows what they're talking about, or at least is willing to research to figure it out. And I think the majority of them are pretty good. But when you see something like this, even though the university probably has nothing to do with it, the financial literacy course doesn't teach you about arbitration and jurisdiction for lawsuits and any of that. Like, it's just not going to get to that level. So it sort of drags everything down. It gives a bad look to NIL in general. And these are some of the flaws that you see sort of early of what what happened with NIL, where it was just everybody trying to, buy an athlete and make money on the back end of them instead of, really trying to grow their brand.
Right.
15 years or what, 25 years or whatever it was.
I mean, he's not going to – nobody plays for 20 – even Tom Brady, right?
That's the
Like,
part that's throwing me.
25
Like,
years.
5 years means, like you just said, you
I'm
signed
about to
Death
say,
row.
do
He
we got
signed to Death Row.
do we got a son? I got to put that
Yeah,
term
he does.
on him. Like what? That's
There's
crazy.
literally it didn't actually make the news much, but there's a provision in this contract that says he has to disclose to his spouse later in life about he owes 15% pre-tax dollars. So the spouse has a spot. I don't think Gervon is even married yet, but there's a provision in this that accounts for him getting married sometime in the next 25 years that links in that you can't hide behind a marriage. Like it's sickening to read.
Ooh,
And if
it's
somebody would have
nasty.
just said,
Oh,
yeah, I mean, it's awful. And you hope, because again, courts, look, he initials, he signs, he does everything at every sort of key point. But it is a brutal contract. And if it was me and one of my guys, there's not a chance in hell I would tell him to sign it. And I would never present that kind of a deal to a player anyway, just because it's, it victimizes him more than it does, benefit him long term.
Yeah, no doubt. This is my last question. How far away do you think we are from these players unionizing?
I think it's getting closer. We talked about this a little bit before,
Right.
with USC. So the National Labor Relations Board is suing USC out west, basically saying, athletes are employees. And so I think that's when you're going to start to see sort of you see a lot of legislation getting introduced or politicians talking about it. Really, it's another NCAA ploy to get more power over NIL, and you see how they can screw people over. It happened today with the North Carolina wide receiver. So I mean, there's a fix for this. I worry that the people that are in the room debating how to fix it are not the right people. But it's going to get towards the Power 2, maybe 3 conferences, some sort of college football commissioner, sort of a collective bargaining agreement of sorts for players, but. Again, who negotiates that on behalf of, the thousands of players in college football?
You can holler at me. I got time, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, David, we appreciate you for hanging out with us, man. Tell everybody where they can find you at, and what everything you got going on, my dude.
I appreciate it, man. So I'm at Haas-Law PLLC. That's Twitter and IG. If you want a phone number, it's 407-755-7675. And like I said, it's open. But even Kenny's Florida State guys know they can call me.
Let's get them the Gervon deal, man.
What's that, bud?
Let's get them boys the Gervon deal, though. Make sure they sign them.
I know, right?
Deals. All right, David, hold it down, my guy. I appreciate you for coming.
All right, fellas. Good to see you.
Amen.
Yep. That's my guy, David. Super great dude, man. Comes through for a lot of stuff, man. Good guy to know. I was surprised it was a mutual when we started talking. I was like, oh, that's crazy. A lot of people that I keep meeting know David. I'm like, bro, this guy be shaking and moving a little bit, man. So shout out to that.
AR, he represent rappers too. Look, you don't
already. We gotta
like
get Kodak on here and shit, man. Like shit.
NLE.
Yeah. So he used to. He move around.
David, one of them guys. You be like, why the hell you ain't tell me you do all this? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I wouldn't even know he deal with rappers the way he was just talking on there. You wouldn't.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's seen some worse contracts than Gervon if he's dealing with rappers. I'll tell you that shit.
No, but that sounds crazy though. 25 years.
That's insane, man. That's insane.
That's legal, man. Like that's criminal. That's literally criminal. They legally finessed them legally. Well,
we'll see. What question I did forget to ask? Like, if he wins, does he have to pay the $400,000 back though? Like, if he wins, they ain't got to pay nothing back. I think that's fire. But just for them being greedy, that should be the reward. But I don't see he could lose this, bro. There's a lot of provisions that David broke down that they broke and didn't go through. So I hope it's just null and void. What you got, Ken?
Yeah. No, I just think that stuff like that, it's just getting in the way of your performance too. Like it's just unfortunate because it's like that ain't just like a little bit of money they coming after you for it. And then you got social media added on to it. And like you say, the litigations of all this shit is like, man, can I perform on Saturday? Can I lock in?
Everybody in your business.
Oh, everybody. Then you got your teammates who, shoot, they getting paid in gum. You know what I mean? Like, they ain't getting nothing. So it's like, you got to mix that in. So it's all out there. I just hope the young man just learn from it.
Yeah, he was in a situation. So he has a young family, not married yet, but he had a kid last year. So I know you catch him in vulnerable. You catch him in a vulnerable spot. It's easy to take advantage of people that's in a vulnerable position in life. You know, a lot of these boys, they're not from money. They come from rough neighborhoods. So if they're in the bind, people from the crib calling them for money. It's a lot of pressure. His father passed away when he first got to college, so there's no, he's the man of the crib. He's the man of the family. Yeah. So it's a lot going on, and he's, prime for the picking when you're in that position. People will take advantage of you. He's like a check cashing store in the hood.
Nice. Hey, you said a mouthful right there.
I gotta talk about my Gators though, man. It's week 2. I couldn't find no writer from McNeese State, fellas. I wanted to bring somebody on.
Oh man, hey, I would have hyped him up too. I would have instigated it.
You gonna give us another 17-3? I was gonna believe whatever you said this week too. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna go whatever you roll with, bro. I'm just gonna be like, yeah, that boy got some inside information, man. That shit hitting right on. That 3 points had me nervous in a bitch. This week, bro, it's a cupcake week. It's a week to get better, get healthier. The injuries is not too bad, but we do have some injuries. Kingsley Ugakun, who missed last week, our center, he was out with a high ankle sprain. High ankle sprains are hell. He might deal with this all season. Week 3 is probably Billy Napier's biggest game of his career, heading into Tennessee. So I don't mind Kingsley resting this week. We don't need him versus McNeese State. Let him get healthy for Tennessee, the big week. Jack Miller could be QB2 or 3. He's still out, questionable with a shoulder. Don't expect him to play this game, but with him out, I do expect Max Brown to get some reps. I'm excited to see what he looks like in live action. He hasn't played a collegiate game yet, so that should be interesting to watch. But Jack Miller's out. Khalil Jackson, 22, the walk-on wide receiver. He started last week, which was pretty dope to see a walk-on make it up to that status. He's a legacy kid, got to start, but he's out with a lower body injury. No details on what exactly the injury is. In his place, Eugene Wilson, the true freshman, will get the start. I spoke on the Same Energy Sunday show, just kind of on how explosive he was. I thought he deserved more touches and targets. I think he's Kadarius Toney, Percy Harvin, electric type of player. You got those type of guys. You got to just feed him the ball. Last week he got 23 snaps versus Utah. Graded out as one of the top offensive guys in those 23 snaps. Had 2 catches for 24 yards, 1 carry for 9. So, the chunk yardage is there. I just think he needs more opportunity. More on the injury front, Marcus Burke and Ty Bowman are both questionable for this week with lower body injuries. Devin Moore has strep throat. I don't mind him sitting out versus McNeese State as well. Tony Livingston, the tight end, is out not out. It's questionable with an upper body injury. No clue what that is. They don't really give us the body part or anything like that. We lost somebody to the portal today, Jadavius Perkins. Jadavius Perkins hits the portal. There's a lot of shenanigans off the field with him this offseason, like a few weeks ago. Don't want to get into too much, of what it may have been, but just hearing some off the field stuff that popped up that ended up getting him clipped. He was kind of sharing some shine at the star position with Jaden Hill. Right now, I think Jaden Hill will be the starter there, but I'm ready to see one of the young boys play. Sharif Denson is a guy that could fill in that star. I expect him to get some reps in this game. It's McNeese State, so Sharif Denson definitely get some looks this week. But my whole take on the DB room right now, especially when it pertains to corner and star, is just getting the best on the field. I think our best set of corners, we have 3 guys. Jason Marshall is CB1. I think very highly of Devin Moore. He's going to be, if he stay healthy, he's going to be a all-pro defensive back in the league one day. He's like 6'3", version on 6'4". He grew a lot but he's a big, tall, strong kid, super athletic. Almost jumped the route a slant route this past week versus Utah. He should have came home with that. I needed that turnover. And next time, Tennessee, you owe me one. I got Devin Moore down for interception Tennessee week. He owed me one. But I would try to figure out of Devin Moore, Jalen Kimber, and Jason Marshall, which one of those guys could play star because they're all three lights out defensive backs. I would like to try to get my best three guys on the field before I play with a freshman at star. I like Sharif Denson, but I would like to see a guy, with some experience. We already got a true freshman at safety with Jordan Castell. When you start putting too many freshmen in your secondary, it gets a little, spooky on that back end. The more we play and get into SEC plays, these offensive coordinators are going to get real slick and into their bag a little bit here. So I'm not comfortable with two freshmen starting in the secondary. So we'll see how it plays out right now. We don't have two, we have one. The biggest thing also I want to see is just opportunity. Last week, 14 freshmen played versus Utah. I thought that was very good. We're a very young team. And Najee Harris is one of the freshmen that played. He got 16 snaps in the interior offensive line. He could play all three spots on the interior. I expect him by mid-season to possibly be a starter. He's the three-star offensive lineman that came from IMG Academy. He had the second highest grade amongst offensive linemen last week. Super impressive. The highest grade on the team was Shamar James, who had a great game. Just was all over the field. I spoke in the preseason about him, becoming a household name and being that player that jumped on the scene. He jumps out game one, just super electric everywhere, just making shit happen. Wasn't mad that Scooby Williams played as well beside him. I think we got a good pair of linebackers there. Manny Nunnery came in as well and provided some good support at the linebacker position. I need my front four to get better. I hyped them boys up in the offseason. I'm not saying they played bad. We stuffed the run pretty good. Umi Nealon got to step his game up. I like the young boys that came in. Kelby Collins played an excellent game. TJ Sears, he played an excellent game. Them boys is going to be killers. We got a youth movement. We're going to play a lot of young guys, but the future's bright. But play them young boys. Play the best players. I need my defensive line to step up and get some pressure, get that engine going before Tennessee week. We're going to be back at home with the crowd back-to-back weeks. So more freshmen that we'll get to see this week. They had on the depth chart Andy Jean, who was out with an MCL sprain last week. He's back healthy this week. They got him number 2 on the depth chart. I expect to see a lot of Andy Jean, a lot of Mazzell. Give my boy Mazzell some of them a go route. I didn't see enough go routes. I didn't see enough deep routes from my offense last week. My guy got the check downs. He got the check downs. He got the intermediate routes. I do like that from Graham Mertz. He's a heady quarterback. He caught a lot of flack in the offseason. People was calling him garbage and a whole lot of other slanderous names, but that's not what I seen out there Saturday. I think he has good command. Showed me a lot of guts, on some third down plays, putting it all on the line. I thought he probably was going to lead the game injured on that play, but, he finished the game. At tight end position, I don't want to see a lot of Odom. Jonathan Odom just doesn't look healthy. He was out there. If he is healthy, he's not. He probably still shaking off some ACL rust. He had an ACL injury, came back. They say he's fully good to go, but he's catching balls in space, and it's just not explosive. He's running like somebody's grandma out there, bro. Not to get, what I'm saying? Just don't look good, man. Especially when we got other tight ends. I don't want to see a lot of Odom. And then he didn't block as well either. I know they're saying Artis Bordenham and Tony Livingston aren't great blockers right now, but if you look at how Jonathan Odom graded out as a blocking that tight end, he didn't grade out high at all. He graded out terrible. So if he's, not blocking well, he could improve. He could, I want to give everybody the opportunity. McNeese State, then we got Tennessee. He could improve as a run blocker, right? And he may be effective, but on these passing downs, I need to see more Artis Bordenham. I need to see more Tony Livingston. I don't want to hear that players don't know the playbook at this point. You got to know how to get your playmakers the ball. I think that's a lame duck excuse when people say, a player don't know the playbook. Bruh, it's just football. These people been playing football. It's the teacher. That'd be my thing. My son plays football now, and he has some great coaches, but it's the teacher, being able to get through to the kid, but it's just, hey, bro, I need you to run a jet sweep. Go in motion, and we say, hi, we're going to hand you the ball. Hey, run a post route here. If I'm the quarterback, I can easily tell these players that I want to get the ball. Hey, you're getting the ball. Do this. Look for it. Like, some of this could be dumbed down. What do you think? What do you guys think in that? You guys are more experienced. You played at a higher level than me. What do you guys think about the whole playbook scenario and kids, like, not knowing the playbook, so they're not getting reps?
I mean, me personally, I do think sometimes the coaches aren't able to connect with the player, and able to get him to, taking the information the right way, right? But then
Right.
it's kind of on the player as well to, make sure he's studying when no one's looking and making sure, he's doing his thing as well to make sure he understands the plays. Especially in the college level, because no one gonna really baby you, in the college level, because you got so much talent behind you. You're a receiver, you probably got 3, 4 other dudes competing for your same spot. So it's kind of like, I've seen guys that have more talent, just never see the field because they just couldn't understand the playbook or didn't put in the time. So it could be either or.
Okay.
No, I think that's why you see coaches and you tell the kids time and time again, these coaches they kind of getting in the midst of not really going after those 2.0 GPAs because when it comes to education, you got to study, you got to do something to lock into that grade, and you got to think about it. You're on the biggest playing field in college. Like football probably is the biggest one, and when it comes down to learning a playbook, that's school, that's education, that's no excuse. Some people learn differently. I was one of those. Hey, I got to draw things on the board to learn. Like I'm not good on like reading out a book. I got to do something to get on the same level as this guy who just gifted, and just can learn quicker than me. So it's like there's no real excuse. It's one of them things where if you want it, you're gonna go get it. So
Right. Right.
you're right. It ain't, and them people, man, they ain't finna pay and hear that excuse. Oh, I ain't know the plays.
Yeah, no. So you better recruit some players that can learn to play. It's still on you, bro.
Right.
My biggest concern, man, after week one, and I don't want to get it. I'm not gonna podcast like everybody. I know people like everybody running waves. Like everybody start podcasting about the same thing. Everybody's talking offensive coordinator. But
Yeah.
I'm not gonna talk about things that's not about to happen right now. Like, do I think we need the offensive coordinator? Yeah, I'll pot about that later on in the season. Right now,
Yeah.
I want to talk about what we need right now and what I'm liking and disliking right now. Um, I don't like the pace of the pace and urgency. I think that we just the feel of the game got to get better. I said this before about Billy. I don't like the feel of the game, the situational play calling. Games are shorter now, so like game management got to be on point. Like how you using each possession is got to be. You got a lot of analytical nerves on this team, and I think it should just got to be moved smooth, better, run smoother when it pertains to like game management. Offensive
Mhm.
line got me straight up shook. I'm nervous about my offensive line play. I know we played a formidable team. Utah, Kyle Whittingham. I said on this show, he came in saying that was one of his best defenses that he ever coached. Um, then nothing jumped off the film crazy to me that said that it was some special team, but we just couldn't get the run game going. Kingsley dealing with a high ankle sprain. I like Najee. Uh, but it's just a lot to be desired, especially with 76, the transfer, Damian George that came over from Alabama. He was beat like a drum the whole game, and that's a tackle. So he makes me nervous. Um, Overall offensive line, it just though we got to get some cohesion and some chemistry there. This is a week to get better at that, but I'm gonna be transparent and real about the overall team and where we at. It's gonna be interesting like going forward to see how the depth chart work out. I think guys gonna start leaving and hitting the portal. I don't think Darius Perkins was the last guy that's gonna leave. When you have seniors sitting behind true freshmen in that snap count, I don't care who start. That snap count is what matters the most. So when these guys that are trying to go get drafted and go to the NFL, you get closer to game 3, they looking, hey, I want to save my year eligibility and maybe go
Yeah.
somewhere else. So don't be surprised if these rooms you see young boys starting to get more reps. Don't be surprised to see more people hitting that transfer portal. But I do want to see more young boys play because that's where we got most of our high-rated players that have shown playmaking abilities in camp. I don't want to just go with these older guys. And Billy's showing, the willingness to play young guys. it ain't easy to do to put a guy out there that young. Like you risking some, and also you gotta play politics a little bit with those older guys. Transfer portal era is different. Like you could just say, "Oh, bench that dude," but then you could lose your whole depth,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that matters in this league, man. You had something, Ar?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I just feel like just watching back the game, I feel like UF just never got like a rhythm. Like they never, like, I couldn't understand what they were trying to accomplish as an offensive. Like
No
what was,
identity.
they were just like calling plays and just going through the motions, but there was no like plan, to really, you know, you know, do something explosive. And it was like I told you, on the after the game, I was like, the sense of urgency was just not there as well. Like you're down, double digits, and guys are just walking around on the field, and they're kind of driving the ball where you can possibly
Yeah.
score, kind of make this a kind of game. And it's like they're just taking their time walking up to the ball. So, maybe a game like McNeese, allows them to catch a rhythm and figure some things out heading into Tennessee. But just watching, I just couldn't figure out what there was a philosophy on the offense side of the ball at all.
Yeah, 2 minute offense is a nightmare for me, bro. It was the same thing last year. Ending halves, it was terrible game management, terrible pace, no urgency, and it comes from the top. Like Billy's a very relaxed, calm guy, and that's cool. But there's no they reflects to the player. I mean, they're standing around waiting on the play as well. You know what I'm saying? As they come in, they calmly walk to the line of scrimmage, and they're taking their time. Like, bro, snap that shit, man. Let's get going. Another thing too, bro, just the energy of I don't like because everybody have their own personality, but I gotta see at least one coach snapping on people making mistakes. Like it ain't gotta come from Billy, but
Yeah.
I need somebody on that staff to be getting at people that's doing dumb penalties. Penalties cost us big time, and I don't see nobody getting their ass chewed out, paws on the sideline. It's football, bro. At the end of the day, Nick Saban about to snap on somebody that's fucking up. Jimbo's about to snap on somebody that's fucking up. Championship level coaches,
Oh,
they
it
finna
wasn't.
run
That's what I'm
down on you,
saying.
bro.
You got at least 3 on the staff, and it wasn't. You seen Jimbo, but the one that was gonna get your ass was Trickett. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I feel what you're saying. That shit kind of make you mad as a fan. It's like, damn, like, are y'all in this?
Yeah, everybody too call like country club vibes on the sideline, bro. We just got costly penalties in the special teams. Like call everybody. You see this where coaches
Yeah.
gather everybody around and get focused or something.
Yeah.
I just need some energy on the sideline when it pertains to my staff. Like snap on somebody a little bit. They still growing, they still young and all, but it's football. And when
Yeah.
you need a spark, it's got to come from somewhere. That's another thing too, leadership wise. I'm gonna let you get yours, Kenny. There's not a lot to break down from this game. This team is terrible. We should score 40,
Yeah.
50 points. But I forgot what I was about to say. I wanted to see something else. Dang. I'm
Nah,
mad when I
it's
see
just a
that.
tough imbalance because I see why you a little bit more upset because okay, say you win the Utah game, then you get more confidence rolling to a McNeese State, and then you got even momentum rolling to a hostile environment
Right.
in Tennessee. So it's like now it's like you play a hard game, then you go back down to a game, you win it, y'all still ain't as confident. Like,
Yeah, no,
are we
we
that?
don't know what we
Are we
got.
that dude?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, are we that team?
Now we'll find out where we at, man. When the Tide come back in, I think week 3, we'll see where we at. That game, we got him at home. I think it's gonna be Billy's biggest game of his career. I
Oh,
think
definitely.
you have to win that game. You got him at home. They're ranked number 9 right now. I don't really care about the rankings. We don't know what Tennessee is. Joe Milton, who's my cousin-in-law. I need him to shit. I need him to shit the bed though. You know what I'm saying? I don't. It's the house divided that week, brother. Like I need that boy to come out that thing throw 5, 6 interceptions. Like no
You're
doubt
an
in my
Orlando
mind.
guy.
He's originally from Pahokee. He went to Olympia in Orlando though. That's where he went to high
I'm
school
about
at.
to say somebody said that today. I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah, I was a big Joe Milton fan in the recruiting process. Like
Okay.
my old tweets are gone, but I was trying to get him at UF. Yeah, they got my old Twitter out of there. Y'all peoples be at my neck, man. Florida State and Miami fans, them folks hate me. I'm a good guy, bro. I just, we're rivals. They're
Man.
supposed to hate me, but they hate me a little bit too much, bro. It's like they passionate about it.
Yeah, they are. Hey, I be seeing it.
I like it, man. It's fuel. What you got? Where you at with it? Hey, y'all smash that like button, man. Y'all show us some love. Oh, S. Dot in the comments, he asked me, we'll move on to some Florida State stuff. How do I feel about the QB play? It's okay. I thought he played okay week one, versus Utah. I didn't expect him to throw 44 passes or us to have to depend on him. My theory was we run the ball and play action off of him to survive this season. But if the run game can get going, you might have to, and that's what AR brought up last week. Do I possibly see him, losing that job? Only way I see him losing that job if we don't get the run game going, you're gonna need somebody dynamic. If you can't, not just run game, they're not pass blocking. So you're gonna need somebody to haul ass up out of that pocket and to make shit happen a little bit. So that's how I could see him losing the job possibly. But quarterback play right now, I think he's in good command of the offense. He gets everybody lined up right. Not a whole lot of goofiness with that. The execution in the offensive line is another thing, but I thought he executed well from his spot. I just don't think he throws the ball down the field enough. I don't know if that's by design. I've seen in some scrimmages, I get some backroom scrimmages clips. I've seen him throw the ball down the field, but I got to see it in the game. We'll see what's up with it. I think he has enough velocity and whatever to stretch the field. I don't think we have a whole lot of issues with that. But we'll see. Kenny, how you feel? I need Southern Miss to pull off the upset of upsets.
Not happening.
Never
Like I
seen that.
said, we going into a week where we're very confident. So I think that we just got to have a good half, and I like to see more of it. If I need to see any backup, I need to see the backup quarterback take Rodemaker, just in case. Just in case Jordan go down, something happens, you got to see what that backup do. So I would like for him to get 2, maybe even 3 quarters. So I put that
Slide a little bit to your left.
my left.
Right, perfect. You good.
Yeah, I need him to get 2, 3 quarters just to build the confidence in himself up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this week is a good confidence booster for the backups and just the people who are gonna get pivotal roles behind those starters. So I like for us to win big. I like at least 48 points. Our D line, they got me. I'm more proud of the D line, and I'm a receiver. I think our D line is the pillar of our team.
Now they look good. Like Fisk, all them boys, they was holding down.
Farmer, all them boys. All them
Yeah.
boys. But I like for just everybody just to get a touch of just the field, just so we can have a complete team, because we are stacked with a lot of elders, but we also, I'm pretty sure we got some boys behind them, some young bucks who ready to go as well. So this is a perfect game just to let them lose. I like to call it, they just lose their virginity. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Raw. You Kenny Raw Shaw.
That's it.
That's why they call you Kenny Raw Shaw, bro.
That's it.
Yeah, man. Hey, what was your feel? I want to talk. This is what I wanted to ask you. What you thought about the Clemson Duke game? Like, I was surprised how good Duke was, and I also was surprised how cheeks Clemson was. But what's y'all boys' opinion of that ACC matchup?
I think Clemson, just how you kind of stated with how the coaches were on the side, it was nobody really except Dabo. That's in his blood. Dabo gonna yell, but everyone else thought it was just okay for all that shit to be happening. But as a Florida State guy, we licking our chops seeing what that quarterback did, and I think that he's not half as good of a runner as Jordan is. So I like for us to just handle business in Death Valley, but also all that stuff give you confidence. But again, you can't just hop into environment like that and just think that it's gonna be easy. So
Right.
I'm gonna respect it. I'm gonna lay low on it a little bit.
Lay low and build. Okay.
Yeah, lay low and build.
I don't like that humility, man.
Literally.
Like, talk greasy. What you think? What you thought about Duke and Clemson? I seen you saying the Clemson offense was mud.
Yeah. I've been feeling like this for a minute, right? I just feel like for the last year, 2 years, I feel like Clemson been getting by. Like a lot of teams, like they have a chance to really win a game, but they don't capitalize off Clemson mistakes. And Duke was able to do it, causing fumbles in the red zone. I feel like they made those plays in the time they needed. And just Clemson offense to me always been smelly. They blame the DJ kid, the quarterback last year, whatever the case may be. But just the play calling, it's just like a lot of motion and a lot of movements, but it's the same basic route concept.
Sound like my shit.
It just looks good, but in the day they're running the same basic routes, but it's like they're getting away with it for years, So it felt good to see a team actually capitalize off exposing that, the Clemson offense, that will call it, their way they do things. Even though you go bring in a offensive coordinator from TCU and you pretty much tell him, that they're still going to run the Clemson philosophy and Clemson play. So why is he there? That's first off. I was happy to see it. Nonetheless, I don't like Clemson. Never will. Never did. So it felt good, man. I had a big smile on my face to watch them Devils, storm the field. That's crazy.
Is there anything y'all think you could work on this week, Kenny? Offensive, defensively, that you struggled with last week that you may want to see this week?
I think the only thing, honestly, I can say is just Jordan's mistake rate. We've seen it last year. Sometimes he'll get into a pickle where it's just like, just throw the ball away or throw it to the ground instead of just putting a turnover on the books. And I think the more he works on that, the more that will contribute to even more wins. But again, like AR says, sometimes teams don't capitalize or they do. And luckily in our favor, our defense was good enough to help us out in that department. And, sometimes you like to have a give take. Sometimes you want to have the defense back. Sometimes you need the defense to have your back. So you don't want to keep playing that game all year. So I just like for him to limit a little bit some of those mistakes and just that's about it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, AR.
No, I was gonna touch on just Jordan Travis and just because I've seen him play since he was a little kid. We played in the same youth league, WCFL. A couple years older than him. By they made the age jokes, but I'm like 2 years older than him, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But he's always been a risk taker, And when you have like the athlete that has that type of ability, they're gonna take those chances, and you're gonna be mad, of them doing dumb things, but the great plays they make is always going to outweigh the few bad plays. Example, like Reggie Bush was known for, cutting back, doing all the extracurricular. One game, in the championship game, he tried to pitch it back. He tried to make a great play, and it bit him. But you don't forget all the other great plays, he went on to make, So I see Jordan Travis in that same type of boat, man. He always going to make great plays. Every now and then he going to do something really stupid. But you won't forget about it by the end of the game because he's going to do something else crazy.
Hey, motherfuckers ain't going to forget no championship now. Hey, if I'm on that team, I ain't forgetting that either. Look, I'm like, I don't came this far, and we doing some shit like this. Nah, I ain't letting that slide. But I get what you're saying. I'm only speaking of, I guess, experience of, again, we won the following year, a championship, but the year before then, we had the same kind of issues as little dumb mistakes, and we number 2 in the nation and lost to a unranked NC State off of just like some shit that we knew we saw it. We just brushed it on the rug, but it was just like, damn, we should have just cross-eyed T on this shit. Like we let it bite us. So I just don't want that to happen to us. That's it.
Yeah, you're right.
Real quick, what would you think when James came out the locker room when he was suspended? When he came out in full pass.
Man, honestly, I was out of school then.
Oh,
but,
you weren't there? You weren't there.
No, I wasn't there. But hey, truly, I said, man, that's my dog, man. Hey, I said, you can't stop my dog. Look, hey, they keep playing with him with that stupid ass. They be having a stupid ass. They hate Florida State. Y'all can admit that.
I hate Florida State. I don't know about they.
The media, all that. They hate us, man. But
I feel the same way about Florida, though. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Nah, but when I saw him come out, I said, my dog tried to sneak out there and get at least one quarter.
He thought everybody was gonna forget, bro. That he was like,
hey,
Like suspended, bro. This was national news, James. Like nobody's gonna forget, fam.
And just to see Jimbo talking to him, you don't know what the hell coming out of Jimbo mouth. But any player who don't play with Jimbo, you like,
Jimbo, like, what the fuck wrong with you, man?
hey, Jimbo saying some shit.
Hey, I remember seeing a little highlight before the game, bro. He dead warming up with the football, all that.
Bro, I was laughing. I was dying. I was like, at first I was just like, is he about to play? Like, did I miss something? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, I know he's suspended. All right, back to our regular scheduled conversation. Do you have Jordan Travis and Keon Coleman in the Heisman race? Where you at with it?
Like that writer kind of said, week one, I don't even like to shoot to the moon too quick. It's week one. We got a long season, like plus playoffs and all that. So, once you get started talking with that Heisman, that it almost this early kind of individualized the player, like as far as like they ain't surrounded by a group of hard ass working teammates. You know what I mean? Like
right.
A Heisman really like implicates just a dude who just the team dude and just carry that team with in the whole season type shit. And this week one, but I gotta give it off to that guy in Colorado State. Shit, that dude who up for the Heisman. Yeah,
Colorado, Georgia. You like Travis Hunter.
Travis Hunter. Hey, he
5'6", baby. We
a
little bit.
I can't look. Hey, he is put his ass in that shit. You know what I mean?
Bro, he
put him in the race.
Do you think he can sustain that though? Like he's doing on both sides of the ball, playing a shitload of snaps. I think he played 56 snaps or something like that.
Hey,
some crazy. I forgot what the snap count was, but I think it was 56 on both sides. I can't remember.
Like 119 total, something like that.
Yeah, I gotta see their schedule and then answer that. But if
it's a gauntlet.
Yes, I think their division is going to allow him to play both ways. Frequently. If he was in the SEC, I'd probably be like, I don't know, man, because you banging a little bit more, but it's a little different out there, in the conference.
If he could sustain, his level of play on both sides of the ball, and fatigue don't hit him, because I don't see he gonna be able to do his thing. That boy was doing some things at cornerback that was different, man. Like the way he's a ball hawk. Like he ain't trying to break no passes up. He trying to bring that shit in. I like his.
He's a game changer.
Yes, he is on both sides of the ball. If he can maintain that level of play and the fatigue don't affect him, I got him as a front runner right now.
Yeah, I tip my hat to him because that ain't easy. Definitely at that pace. But honestly, just the one play alone, just the running back breaks a 90-yarder and he get a pick the next play. It's like, that's a type of athlete that want it. You know what I mean? And he spreads that on the team. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he, like you say, he a game changer. He do talk his shit. He back up his word, which not many people like, as you see in this social media world and just this world in general. People don't like when you talk shit and back it up.
Yeah, now he's a dude. You say something to him, he rises to the occasion every time.
Yeah,
I seen him get beat. Well, not beat, but it was like a post route. It was overthrown. He got up chirping, and the guy was chirping at him. He go back, PBU, next play. They try to bomb up in the red zone. Knock it down. Like I feel like every single time someone try him, I feel like he elevates his show you like, oh, y'all think I'm,
Right.
It's an old school competition. That's what it is. Like, man, I don't want to lose. I don't like to lose.
If I'm a DB, I'm going out there to play. I'm telling y'all right. The way Prime got trial, look, I'm gonna be real with y'all. If I'm a DB, bro, ain't no way I ain't going out there to play, man. Like that.
But I am curious to see, because they obviously got to balance off what he gonna play more of. So I am curious to see, do they need him more
right there?
I don't know whether they see more him at receiver or DB. It's gonna break off towards the end of the season though.
Yeah, I think Zachariah Branch at USC, he's gonna run into some wide receivers here, and I do want to see some of these matchups. But I think Branch and Travis Hunter may be the matchup. I think they got USC in a couple weeks, and it's a sold-out affair. That should be a real good one.
Hey,
I like I like Travis 100%.
Like Travis? Okay.
Bro, he's a receiver playing corner, playing receiver. Like it's crazy. Like, but his mind, like you can tell, like he understands play art, and he's like reading the plays and running routes and reading routes better than the receivers. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
he's jumping
Yeah.
route before the receiver broken a slant. He's already running through the slant route, trying to pick it, which he dropped, by the way. Should have been a book 6, but you know.
But he would have got that. It would have just been too good to be true, man. Like I watch him to play. He didn't the improvement. I do want to give him like flowers for his improvement because I was critical of his body development. I didn't think he looked like a 5-star defensive back or athlete playing at HBCU. I may have been mistaken, but last year I didn't think he was. I think it's been an incredible jump in his field of play. So I just want to give him flowers for that, bro. Just for being an overall developed player on both sides of the ball. Like he put some work in, and that shit is not easy what he's doing out there, man. It's super impressive. We haven't seen anything like this since Charles Woodson.
Yeah.
That's crazy. He should keep the weight down though. I don't think he should gain weight. It's gonna lead to a lot of like lower body like
good
and stuff. So he stay right where he's at. He'd improve. He can do it. So I think he should stay that size. Just bulk up a little bit as far as like muscle mass, but don't gain weight, bro. Don't go to chugging protein shakes and all that stuff.
Nah, he good with it.
Dog without it.
Give me. I didn't give no score. Oh, my score for Gabe. I'm gonna ask you real quick. So my score for UF, I just needed to hit 40-something points. Don't lie over 2 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? Like go out here and make McNeese State look like McNeese State. So I got us in the 40s. I need us to score in the 40s, or I'm gonna be critical. I gotta do my job. What you got to score at for Southern Miss, man? How soon do you bench your starters?
I benched them halftime or before, but I got the score. We winning by at least 40.
Okay.
Like you say, I think it's one of those games where we make them look like Southern Miss.
Yeah.
Huh.
You don't like that? You don't like that, AR?
Frank Gorsun's still the running back over there, right? At Southern Miss.
Man, you must ain't see our defense. You keep on talking about running back.
I guarantee he rushing for 150 for sure.
Frank Gore gonna have to bring that.
150?
He rushing for 150. I promise you. They gonna give him the ball every
On
day.
who? The first team? Or what? That's a good question now.
Throughout the game, total. So
yeah, he can on the walk-ons or the backups that we put in, but
not
on that first.
It's gonna be like 40, it's gonna be like 42-10. Y'all gonna blow him out, but he gonna rush for like 150. I promise you.
Not on the first team.
This is bad.
Well, you got him. How many yards you think he get at half?
At the half, I like him for 20, 30 yards. Bro, have you seen our D line?
I have, but I also seen someone get the ball like 10 times on the same drive every play. So
man,
the math on it, bro. He gonna have like 25 carries for like 150. So
see this. You see why we can't let Miami win?
You got this shit about to end this week, Kenny.
Man, hey, this man, what is the
hell? He feeling so greasy, bro. He talking so greasy. He got Frank Gore's son, not Frank Gore. He got Frank Gore's son running down on y'all for $150.
150.
You gonna need Daddy to show up to get half of that 150.
No, serious.
He is, man.
Hey, them boys
on the other side of the ball, bro.
Them boys playing like assassins out there. And I'm not even talking about like just D line. It's the whole board. DBs coming down, swarming.
No, them DBs a little mud. I think y'all suspect on that back end.
But again, I told you at the beginning of the season. That's
a lot of drops, bro. Them boys wasn't driving that rock like that. But it was barbecue chicken. Now.
At the beginning of the season, I told you, look, if the quarterback can't get the ball off, you can have an average DB unit.
Right.
You did say that.
Yeah.
And them boys dogs. Them D linemen, like I said, no more than 30, 40 yards.
Wanna,
and let's remember that. So let's remember that for the record.
I'm gonna clip this, make a little live bet, man.
He's like 17-3 hits, so I won't be denying none of Kenny Tate. I'm just, I'm student here, bro. I'm just vibing. We'll see how it all work out.
I had 50 yards by the first quarter, bro.
According to Kenny, bro, they're not gonna have over 100 total yards by halftime.
Okay. Okay.
Under 100 yards, what you got these folks at, Kenny?
AR, first home game. You got to think about this noise. They ain't used to this noise.
That sounds like a lot of mistakes, though. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of attention elsewhere besides Frank Gore's son running it right between the gaps. You feel me?
Hey, I didn't even talk about our backup farmer. You seen that boy play?
Which one was that?
Farmer. Hey, he had the
Oh,
highest.
Farmer. Jalen Farmer. Yeah, shout out to Farmer.
He had the highest havoc rate. Have you seen him play?
No.
Yeah, I watched the game, bro. Unfortunately,
Him alone would take 2 or 3 of their old linemen.
Mm.
Southern Miss don't care nothing about that shit you talking, Kenny. Boy, about that.
Oh, hey, still don't jump on this, man. Hey,
No, I'm not. You gotta worry about it, bro.
Hey.
Only my mentions in shambles.
I like that stat. No more than 100.
No
total.
more than 100 yards a half.
Mm-mm.
All right, Lion. I see you in the comments, man. Make sure you mark this minute mark, bro. We have to follow back up on that. AR, how you feel about Mario Cristobal? You know his status with the fan base. Rough season last year. Good recruiting year last year. Recruiting's not as good as it was last year. How important is this win for him? And if he lose, like I don't even want to talk about it. We'll talk about if he lose on St. Man's Center. We'll address it then. But how important is this game for him in your mind?
Yeah, I mean it's huge, right? You're trying to capture a whole fan base and get everyone bought in, not only the the fans but the players as well. So I do think a win like this is going to be a whole lot of recruits. I think we got like over 8 5-stars and over 20 plus 4-stars going to be in attendance. So it's huge, man. Win a game like that at home. You see a lot of those little letters that come out on Twitter, with commitments. So I'm pulling for him, man. I love Mario. Like I said, he was recruiting me when he was over at Bama, so I got love for him, and I'm always pulling for him. And he's doing everything right, but he's just doing it his way and on his time. So as long as we stay patient, last week was a good taste to see the philosophy and what he wants to bring, what he wants to do. So this week is like the real test, and I think everyone's excited. Even myself, man, I'm amped up just to see us compete against a real P5 school, man, on a national level, and see where we really are, so I can come in here and talk a little more trash.
41-24.
Oh man, listen, I almost walked this.
You about to walk off the show again. That 41-24 threw me off. I had a good question, bro. That sounds like a good. If they score 41 points, bro, the burger memes be crazy. I be hating when teams score 40 on me because then it's like a different type of loss, man. Like it stinks when they run it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be important for y'all to get the crowd into the game. Like having that home field advantage is important. You win the coin toss. Who you put out there first, offense or defense?
Honestly, I'm going defense. I want to get a 3 and out. Because I think defense, it kind of is going to propel our offense to come out there with some, some juice. If you put an offense out there, it might be a little shaky, coming out rough. So I always like when the defense go out there first. They go out there, smack somebody around, jump up, get the crowd going. Then we come out, kind of feed off that energy, So I would love no more than see our defense get a 3 and out. They punt it to us, we drive down, score a touchdown. That would be ideal. And if that happened, I think we finish strong. We like a team. We start fast, we gonna finish strong. But we start slow, it's hard to, we're not like a third, fourth quarter team where we'll figure out later on. Like we got to start good, we got to finish good. So I'm curious to see that.
When y'all become a third or fourth quarter team, that's when y'all gonna really become a team, though. Like you just gonna be in wars. It's just part of growing. That's when I know when my team's like turning that corner. Even when Dan Mullen, when he got on a roll. Those third and fourth quarters when we were down, we fought all the way to the end and got a victory in the end. And that's that championship quality, good culture and all of that. I think it's a good question. Demetrius Shaw is bringing some juice today.
Hey, he said he my cousin.
Everybody
you late on that, bro. You supposed to cash in on that when them boys winning natties and shit, man. You know what I'm saying? It's too late now, huh, Kenny?
That's a good question, though.
Yeah, that's a great question. Who is more in a hot seat, Napier or Cristobal?
I'll let y'all have that.
Him, his people, Napier.
I don't know how
Why?
we made a bowl last year. Y'all boys at home eating out a cereal bowl. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, but I feel like Florida fans always live in the now. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, it's always, what have you done for me more recently? You know what I'm saying? So a loss to
Yeah,
Utah.
they unreasonable. They unreasonable as shit.
Yeah, I just feel like we're a little bit more. We crazy too, but it's more so like, all right, we got a guy that played for you. You know what I'm trying to say? Went, did his coaching tree. We kind of trust his process, and we feel like, he's our guy. Long term. Billy, listen, man, it's just a little different. He not an alma mater. Like, he ain't got no ties. It's kind of like if Dion was a coach for FSU. Fans might be a little bit more lenient to let him build his team out. Billy's just kind of throwing out there like, look, man, you got to get it together, or you're gonna have to have a conversation.
That shit sound good, but if Mario don't
Yeah.
go make the bowl game this year, bro, they gonna be ready to run his ass out of Dave, man.
I
The
was about to
whole
say.
crystal ball family. Yeah, Billy C to the fan base. It's like a real world and then it's Twitter world. I keep telling Twitter not real life. So like on the social media, like of course I think his seat would definitely start boiling. But when we made this hire and the whole process from my take as soon as we made this hire was this is a long play. You getting a guy that coming from Louisiana, not a lot of experience, he's a young dude. He's bringing over a young staff with him, one of the youngest staffs in the country. This isn't a Dan Mullen hire where you're bringing a veteran in to come win right away, and then you see the wins right away, but then the longevity is just not there because Dan Mullen is who he is in his career at this point. He's not going to turn into a recruiter. He's not going to teach an old dog new tricks. So I thought, Dan Mullen hire was that hire that we need to win right away and strike on the talent that we had on campus. This hire is just a totally different hire, from the big staff. This is a long-term play. And I think Norvell left a little blueprint there, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
them first 3 years, they was ready to get his ass out of there. Like, there were still fans mad about Willie Taggart saying that, he deserved more time. And I don't even think that's debatable, man. Willie was wilding. But you can learn, Willie was wild. I enjoyed the Willie years. Bring Willie back, man. I think this is a long move, and I think everybody just needs to be patient. Like some of the same stuff, Florida State was making some bonehead stuff, some bonehead play calls. There's a lot of goofy decisions, but Norvell was the same thing, a young coach that had to take some lumps, and that's what Billy is. The fans are gonna be fans. They're gonna be unrealistic with where we at as a program, but bro, I don't care where you work at, man. If the leadership keep changing, you keep bringing new heads in there, the company gonna be shit. And you need stability, you know what I'm saying? You need to instill culture, and it takes years to instill culture, not one. Do I want to win right away? Yeah, like I want to win right now. Comparing him to Dion, I think is a waste of time. Like, first of all, we won week 1 last year, and we was all hyped after Billy's first game, but it meant shit. And it's gonna mean the same thing for Dion if he don't go win more games. Like, teams got film on you now. After we won against Utah last year, we went into Tennessee confident and we got spanked because teams had film on us. So things change a little bit. I don't do the comparison. It's a whole season to play out. Do I think his seat gets hot on Twitter? Yeah, it's not a real world. But not in the real world, I think he gets 4 years, bro. They're going to let this thing play out and see after year 4, where you at with it.
Yeah, I can see that. Same thing with Mario. Same thing. Going,
The
give him his time.
recruiting is a positive too. Like if
I'm about to say whoever that recruiting class,
yeah,
they ain't gonna
that matters.
that give you a little hope.
Correct. And then playing young boys, like you're showing the future. That's more of the incompetence is what killed me last week. Just the penalties, the lack of details. I didn't see a lot of the 2 number 3s in the same penalty mistakes. We were a very disciplined team last year when you look at stats. We were one of the best teams when it came down to penalties. So to start off year 2 like that was a setback for me because I was just like, we looked a lot more disciplined last year than we did, this game 1. So we might chalk that up. We'll find out. But I need to be more organized and more on point. And regardless how this season shake out, regardless how high his seat is, we could go win 9 games. I still want an offensive coordinator. But like I said, we'll discuss that later on in the season. I don't want to get no deep dive takes on week 2 about a coordinator that ain't about to happen no time soon. It's a waste of people's time, in my opinion.
That's fair.
Anything else? We out of here. Hey, if you're in Miami this weekend, definitely pull up and make sure you shout out your business, bro. But if you're in Miami this weekend, my man Amon's running it right back with the vlog. He gonna be down there kicking it in Coral Gables. Make sure
Yeah.
y'all find him. Tell him where you gonna be at, bro.
Yeah, we're gonna be at the tailgates. Listen, we moving around, getting exclusive content. So anyone watching this, here or online, just comment what section of the tailgate you're gonna be at. We're gonna pull up. We're gonna get some input on the game, get some takes on the season, and we're gonna have some fun. So
Already. Should be a good time. Them vlogs is super dope. Shout out to Larion. Shout out to y'all. I think this Miami one that we got playing this week is gonna, like the price going up a little bit after this week. Yesterday's price is not today's price.
I'm tuned in for sure.
You gotta be tuned in, man. Like
Tuned in for sure.
I was on the phone call earlier. I was like, nah, man. My son game Saturday, but boy, I was like, bro, I kind of want to pull up, but I gotta go to junior game.
they say you
What
got
time y'all game? What time y'all game?
3:30. That's how I know. That's how I know we can win. Them 3:30 games are lovely for us, man. Night games are our worst nightmares.
All right, I'll be done golfing. I'll see that ass whooping afterwards. I'm telling you, hey,
Whole game, I'm gonna be in the phone texting.
I'm gonna call Jimbo after this. I'm gonna get him hype, man. Hey, we know how to get Jimbo hype, man. I'm gonna hit my dog up again.
You gotta send them AR clips, let them know what they feeling, man. Like the boy thing finna run down on you, Jimbo. You better come through with that thing. Hey, Sunday we back at it too for same energy Sunday. Make sure you guys pull up live. If you want to join the show, you gotta hit us up. Not while we on the show, because I'm not gonna be checking Twitter DMs while we on the show. We had like 10 people hit the DMs while we were recording saying, hey, get me on, dog. We not. You gotta hit us up during the week, latest Sunday morning. But we'll be going Sunday evening, and should be a good one. Make sure y'all pull up, kick it with us. Let's try to get some more former players on here to hang out with us. And if you're a Gator fan, I'm doing a Gator vlog next week. Tennessee game. I'm gonna be in the city, bouncing around from tailgate to tailgate. Me and my guy Randy Russell gonna go up there. My dude Wes, and we just gonna parlay a little bit. Stadium Miguel crew. We'll hit some tailgates and then hang out in the suite or two. We'll see what's up with it. It's the Rollup Network, man. Any shout outs before we get out of here, fellas?
Man, shout out to Knoll Nation. 100%. That's it.
Hey, shout out to K Nation, man. We love y'all over here.
And tell them people how they need to move, man. How they
I'm a Games fan, man. Y'all get 5% off any move or jump the whole month. So, DM me, just say AR, what's up? I want to move and I'll take care of you.
Already, man. It's the Rollup, it's the vibes, it's the biggest. Make sure y'all tune in. We're gonna make this thing bigger and bigger every week. We only gonna get better. The chemistry only gonna get better. The only network covering Florida State, and Miami. Expansion's on the way. Big business on the way. We out here a little bit, man. And always remember, Twitter is not real life. You're